Warning, what you are about to watch is power gaming. Viewer discretion is advised. Timmys will be crushed.
Welcome back to another episode of SmoothBrainEDH, where we make the smoothest plays with the biggest brains. After our April Fool's video, we got some comments hoping to see those commanders in action for real, so we decided to give the people what they wanted. Our first player today is Cody on Gyruda, Doom of Depths. This is a Dimir deck focused around playing copying Gyruda to mill all players and stealing creatures from his opponent's decks. He keeps a hand with Polluted Delta, Cavern of Souls, Gemstone Caverns, Mox Amber, Ghostly Flicker, Submerge, and Gyruda Best the Sea God. Up next is Sam on Arixmathes, Slumbering Isle. This is a Simic sea monster deck, hoping to play a bunch of sea monsters to overpower his opponents. He keeps a hand with 2 forests, an island, Preordain, Delighted Halfling, Thassa, God of the Sea, and Colossal Sky Turtle. There is Cameron on Charix, the Raging Isle. This is a mono blue Voltron deck, hoping to load up the crab with auras and equipment to beat down life totals. He keeps a hand with 3 islands, Midnight Clock, Sword of Forge and Frontier, Swan Song, and Foil. Last up is Chandler on Thassa, God of the Sea. This mono blue deck is all about incremental value, hoping to gain advantage over time to build an impressive board state. He keeps a hand with an island, Homeward Path, Soul Ring, Wayfarer's Bauble, Rhystic Study, Propaganda, and Gyruda Best the Sea God. We're about to hop right into the game, but before that, go ahead and give us a like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any of our new content. We post new gameplay videos every week, so you won't want to miss out. Big shout out to our patrons. We really appreciate the support. Link to our Patreon is in the description, as well as links to the deck lists, our social media, our podcast channel, and our public Discord server. Our channel is partnered with Dragon Shield, so if you're looking to pick up any of their products, use our affiliate link in the description to help out the channel. We're also partnered with Inked Gaming, so if you're looking to make any custom playmats, we also have an affiliate link for them. Now, onto the gameplay.
Cameron wins the die roll, but Cody gets his pre-game Gemstone Caverns, exiling Submerge. Cameron will then play an island and pass to Chandler. Chandler also plays an island, but he'll use his to cast Soul Ring, and then he uses his Soul Ring to cast Wayfarer's Bauble, and then he passes to Cody. Cody plays Polluted Delta, and then he'll free cast his Mox Amber, and then the turn is passed to Sam, who plays Forest into Delighted Halfling, and then he passes to Cameron, who plays another island, and then casts Reality Chip. He'll take a peek at the top of his library, and then pass to Chandler. And Cody stops on end step to fetch for an untapped Watery Grave. Now on Chandler's turn, he'll play Seagate Reborn untapped, paying 3 life to it, and then he'll tap it for Preordain. He'll bottom one of his scries, then draw a card, and then he'll tap for 3 and cast Rhystic Study. And just for the record, there are a lot of Rhystic Study triggers in this game, so I'll just let you know when it is paid for. Chandler will then pass the turn, but Cody stops on end step to cast one of the most confusing Magic cards ever printed, Limdul's Vault. So he'll look at the top 5 cards of his library, and luckily we didn't have to get too into it because he liked all 5 cards. So he'll just keep them on top and then move to his turn. He'll start off with a Cavern of Souls naming Demon, then he casts Arcane Signet and he does pay the 1. And then he passes the turn to Sam, who starts off with an island, then he'll tap for 3 and casts an uncounterable Thassa, God of the Sea. And Chandler jokes that he's not allowed to cast his now. And then the turn is passed to Cameron, who plays an island, then drops Midnight Clock. He'll then pass to Chandler, and the clock strikes 1. And Chandler starts off with an island, and he'll cast Propaganda. He'll then crack his Wayfarer's Bauble for an island, then pass the turn to Cody while searching. And Cody starts off with a Misty Rainforest. He'll then cast Imperial Seal, paying the 1, and he'll pass while searching. The turn is then passed to Sam, and he'll scry 1 to the bottom. Then he'll play another forest, tap for 4, and cast his commander, Arixmathes. The turn is then passed to Cameron, he'll play an island and cast Charix. Then he passes to Chandler, who starts off with a Homeward Path, then he'll tap for 4 and cast Scepter of Eternal Glory, and it can tap for 3. Chandler will then drop Narset Parter of Veils, and he'll down Tigger and find Serum Visions to his hand. The turn is then passed to Cody, and he'll fetch with Misty Rainforest for an island on end step, then on his turn he starts off with a Mana Crypt, and he does pay the 1. He'll then tap for 6 and cast Gyruda. ETB trigger, and there's a lot of cards that go into graveyard, so I'm just going to let the players announce them.
Smart Double, Underground River, Mana Drain, Evil Twin.
Amulet of Vigor, Cultivate, Nadir Kraken, the One Ring.
Wayfarer's Bauble, Island, Combat Research, Commander's Plate.
Island, Thassa's Intervention, Negate, Memory Deluge.
So of course Cody picks Spark Double, copying Gyruda, so we've got another trigger.
Phantasmal Image, Assault Monolith, Fierce Guardianship, Talking With,
Island, Forest, Void Slime, Archetype of Imagination.
Black Blade Reforged, Thought Vessel, an offer you can't refuse, and an island.
Scavenger Grounds. Island. Mana Drain. Mystic Sanctuary.
Of course, Phantasmal Image is chosen, and it copies Spark Gyruda.
Ancient Tomb. Tainted Isle. Gothic Voidwalker. Secret Restoration.
Yavimaya, Fight Rigging, Dark Depths, Lock Zone, Warhammer.
Heroes Heirloom.
Phantasmal
Island. Island. Retraced Image.
Roadside Reliquary. Arcane Denial. Island. Reservoir Kraken.
Cody picks Gothic Voidwalker and ends his chain, at least for this turn, so he'll pass the turn to Sam. And Sam starts off by scrying one to the bottom. He'll then tap for one and cast Preordain, and he does pay the one. After it resolves, Chandler reminds him he can't draw an extra card, so unfortunately, Sam just scries two to the bottom. He'll then channel Colossal Sky Turtle to return Archetype of Imagination back to his hand. The turn is then passed to Cameron, and he starts off by reconfiguring Reality Chip onto Charix. Then he'll play an island from the top of his library. After this, he'll cast Sword of Forge Frontier, and then he passes the turn to Chandler. And on Chandler's turn, he starts off with Castle Vantress, and thanks to the Scepter of Eternal Glory, he's able to tap for 9 mana to cast and kick Rite of Replication, targeting Gyruda. This is very dangerous for the rest of the table. Luckily, Cameron has a response in foil. He's able to cast it for free by discarding an island, and a Crook Claw Terror. But unfortunately, Chandler has an offer Cameron can't refuse, so his foil is countered and Cameron gets 2 treasures. But this counter war isn't over yet. Thanks to those 2 treasures, Cameron's able to sacrifice one and Swan Song Rite of Replication. And unfortunately, Chandler has no more counters in hand, so Rite of Replication is countered and he gets a 2/2. Cameron didn't pay the 1 for any of these counters, so Chandler will cast a card that he drew by tapping for 1 blue and exiling 7 cards from his graveyard. That card is Treasure Cruise. Then, after discarding down to hand size, the turn is passed to Cody and he loses his Mana Crypt trigger. And then he'll start off by sacrificing his Gothic Voidwalker, and the card in exile he chooses is Chandler's Rite of Replication, which of course he will use to target his Spark Double to make a copy. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for more Gyruda triggers. Oh yeah, and he does pay the 1.
Sakashima. Scalding Tarn. Villa's Broker of Blood. Ooh. Brainstorm.
Double Major, Mosswork Bridge, Brainstorm, Island.
Sword of Hearth and Home. Island. Island. Island.
Island.
I'm Sakashima.
Monkey. Ominous Seas. Island.
Okay.
Yep, Sakashima is the chosen card and it copies Gyruda again.
Talisman of Dominance. Entomb. Corpse Dance. Planar Incision.
Island, Fabled Passage, Elven Farsight, 3 visits.
Engulf the Shore. Sky Diamond. Mind Stone. Odawara.
One with the multiverse. Rivers Review. Damn it.
No.
Thought Vessel. Odawara.
So the party thinks Cody's fun ends here, but he casts Ghostly Flicker, paying the 1, flickering Sakashima and Spark Double.
Mox Opal. Demonic Tutor. Everflowing Chalice. Burning Rune Demon.
Sylvan Scrying, Island, Kenosis, Priest of Thassa as offering game fees.
Island. Island. Mystic Remora. Walking Atlas.
Reality Shift. Mystic Confluence. Nadir Kraken. Island.
Burning Rune Demon hits the battlefield.
Demon of Dark Schemes. Reanimate. Dark Ritual. Drown the Lock.
Forest, Odawara, Cycle Rift, Return of the Wild Speaker.
Twisted Image. Frantic Search. Island. Island.
Hall of Storm Giants. Island.
Hellbreaker
Everflowing Chalice. Stormtide Leviathan.
Oh, good lord.
Yeah, that's weird.
Demon of Dark Schemes is the creature he chooses, and he moves to resolve both of their ETB triggers. Yeah, we know it's incorrect, but he forgot his Burning Rune Demon when it hit the field. So the Burning Rune Demon trigger will resolve, and he finds Displace and Essence Flux, and he targets Sam with the ability. And seeing as Displace targets 2 creatures, but Essence Flux only targets 1, Sam gives Cody the Flux. Then the other demon's ability resolves, and it gives all creatures -2/-2, so it kills Chandler's Bird and Sam's Delighted Halfling, and Cody gets 2 energy. He'll then cast the Essence Flux to get another trigger.
Let's go. Force of Will. Jeweled Lotus. Exotic Orchid. Animate Dead.
Nerd.
Overwhelming Stampede, Free from the Real, Reliquary Tower, Stormtide Leviathan.
Hey.
Brass Squire. Sword of the Anime. The One Ring. War Room.
Mirror Maid. Myriad Landscape. Nykthos. Emrakul the Promised End.
Interesting. I really wish I could have had that.
No, I
13, dog.
No hits here, but Cody decides he wants the Flying Spaghetti Monster, so he'll cast Dance of the Dead, getting Emrakul from Chandler's graveyard to his battlefield tapped, and he does forget about the Homeward Path. Cameron then begs Cody to swing at Narset, but Cody sees that Chandler has Propaganda out.
Do you have Propaganda out? Oh, LOL.
propaganda says you, not planeswalkers. So you can...
Oh,
No.
I get to swing at it?
Propaganda doesn't say whenever you attack a planeswalker. So
Oh.
I could have totally just cheated you
I
guys
helped
out
you.
of that.
I helped you, Cameron. Leave me.
So yeah, Cody swings at and kills Narset, saying that he's helping out Cameron because Cameron saved the entire table from a kicked Rite of Replication. The turn is then passed to Sam, and he starts off with his archetype of Imagination. Arixmathes loses a counter, but he doesn't immediately represent that. The turn is then passed to Cameron, and his clock strikes 12, so in response to its trigger, he'll tap for a blue, and then he has his own little personal time twister. He'll then move to main phase and cast his own Propaganda. He does pay the 1, and then he plays an island as land for turn. He'll then return 2 islands to his hand, and then cast Gush for free. He then casts Combat Research on his commander, then he'll discard an island on his cleanup and pass the turn to Chandler. Chandler starts off by dropping Flood of Tears. All non-land permanents are bounced to their owner's hands, and guess what? Emrakul was Chandler's, so it's bounced to his hand, and he had more than 4 permanents bounced, so guess what? He puts Emrakul back on the battlefield. And unfortunately, Sam picks up his Arixmathes, not realizing it's a land and not a creature, and nobody at the table catches this either. He'll then play a Wasteland as land for turn, and then he casts Soul Ring and Scepter of Eternal Glory, then Defiler of Dreams. But Cameron says that Defiler is too much, so he'll resculpt it on end step. Chandler has to discard 4 on cleanup, and then the turn is passed to Cody, who starts off with his Mox Amber and Mana Crypt again, and then Gyruda hits the battlefield again.
Windfall. Hostage taker.
You still have that. So.
It betrays, I swear to Christ.
Basic Cities, Simic Charm, Seedborn Muse, Thrasios.
Island, Aqueous Form, offer you cannot refuse.
Counterspell. Academy Ruin. Island. Solemn Simulacrum.
Take Sand Robot, that's a pretty good one.
And Cody does take the Solemn Simulacrum, finding the only swamp he has in his library to the battlefield tapped. The turn is then passed to Sam, who will recast his Arixmathes, and then the turn is passed to Cameron. And Cameron starts off with a basic island. Then he'll cast Arcane Signet, then he recasts Propaganda, and passes the turn to Chandler. Chandler starts off with Rivendell, then he'll cast Thassa, God of the Sea. After this, he drops Nezahal, the Primal Tide. Then he moves to combat and hits Cody in the air with a Flying Spaghetti Monster. Then the turn is passed to Cody, who loses his Crypt trigger. Then he drops Spark Double, time to start these Gyruda triggers. And since the other players were being animals while Cody was trying to announce what he milled, I guess I'll have to say them for you. It was Lawan, Cephalid Empress, Thassa Deep Dwelling, and 2 lands. Sam milled Soul Ring, Traverse the Outlands, and 2 lands. Cameron milled Mystic Remora, 2 lands, and Solemn Simulacrum, and Chandler milled Hullbreaker Horror, Rapid Hybridization, Cyclonic Rift, and an island. And of course, Cody will pick his Cephalid Empress. Chandler will respond though by activating Nezahal, discarding 3 cards, and exiling it so it is safe. Cody then drops Phantasmal Image, spinning the wheels again.
Displacer Kitten. Copy Artifact. Clever Impersonator.
Oh,
Cyclonic Rift.
fucking
Forest,
Green
Searing
Dragon.
Visions, Concordant Crossroads, Serapil.
Sky Diamond, Island, Trinket Mage, Silent Arbiter.
Disallow. Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger. Island. Wash Away.
And of course, Clever Impersonator is what he picks, so let's go again.
Lunonic Betrayal. Jinga Taxis Core Augur. Otawara. Sakashima the Imposter.
Hullbreaker
sucks.
Horror, Nature's Lore, Beast of Hand, Counterspell.
Wayfarer's Bauble, Sword of Parthenhome, Mole Drifter, Grip of Phyrexis.
Speaking of Mole Drifter, Scourge of Fleets, Swan Song, Island.
Sakashima's chosen, and by the way, they're all choosing Spark Double, so they're not legendary.
We going again. Sunken Ruins. Cabal Ritual. Siren's Ruse. Clearwater Pathway.
June's
we may have
Springs, Jewel
stopped it.
Lotus, Belagad,
Oh, have we?
Heroic Intervention.
Shadowspear, High Tide, 2 islands.
Reliquary Tower, Arcane Signet, Sublime
I'm killing
Epiphany,
you,
Clever
Chandler.
Impersonator.
It was bound to happen. Cody takes Chandler's Clever Impersonator, and we go one more time. Cody mills 2 lands, Obnixilis the Unshackled, and a Chrome Mox. Sam just says there's no creatures in what he milled.
Heroes, Heirloom, Counterspell, 2 islands.
Ancient Tomb, Ponder, Fleet Swallower, Impulse.
You can swallow my fleet.
Cody takes Obnixilis, and then Cameron points out that Chandler's library only has like 10 cards left in it. Cody will then recast Dance of the Dead to bring back Gyruda's evil twin. Cody doesn't hit a single creature in his 4. Sam hits Craterhoof Behemoth, and Chandler and Cameron's mills don't matter because Cody wants that Craterhoof. Because according to his calculations, with all the creatures he has on the battlefield, he has 46 power that can swing this turn, which is immediately turned at Chandler. And since he has no blockers anymore, Chandler just straight up dies. The turn is then passed to Sam, who will start off with a Growth Spiral, drawing a card and not putting a land in. Then he'll channel Boseiju to blow up Cody's Cavern of Souls. The turn is then passed to Cameron, who will cast Sword of Feast and Famine, then Sword of Forge and Frontier, and then the turn is passed to Cody. He pays 2 to his Dance of the Dead, then casts Sakashima. Sam responds by rapid hybriding Cody's Spark Double copy, then Sakashima resolves and we've got another trigger.
Academ's Awakening, Jeweled Amulet, Soul Ring, Scheming Symmetry.
Spawning Kraken, Jutaxian Probe, Island.
Island. Slip it in the back.
And Cody will take the Spawning Kraken. He'll then move to combat and swing everything except the evil twin of Gyruda at Sam, and then the evil twin goes at Cameron, and he does pay the 2. Fortunately, Sam is dead here, and Cameron takes 6. And because of Spawning Kraken and all the Gyruda copies, Cody also makes a ton of 9/9 tokens here. He'll then pass the turn to Cameron, who just peels the top card off of his library. It's an island, and then he'll concede to Cody. And so there you have it. Cody is the winner. Well, everyone, there you have it. Our April Fool's game actually in action. Now, if you remember our April Fool's video, you probably remember a thumbnail that looks almost exactly like this. When I threw that thing together, I'd never expected to actually play it. And you know, if I had known we were, I probably would have included some different commanders, because at the end of the day, not all commanders are created equal. But hey, we threw this little game together for all of you who requested to actually see them play, so here you go. I hope you guys enjoyed it. You can check out all of our links down in the description. Let us know what you thought of the game in the comments as well. But that's all for today, guys. I hope you have a smooth day.